Welcome to At Home is Now. My name is Wanaka Oberhuber and I'm your host. My guest today is Piret. Welcome.
Hey, Wanko.
I hope I got your name right.
You did.
Okay, perfect. So let's start. I love asking the question, what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about communicating with people and having people more in right now. Like it's different, but before as well, having people in real life and real communications, and not just people where they like isolate themselves and they just like don't communicate. It's just plainly routine life, work, paycheck, pay bills. But I get passionate about like getting people more communicative, more talking, more having fun, doing adventures, doing something, whatever, maybe just a hobby.
So you like the real life interaction
Mm-hmm.
and you like encouraging people to actually enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Even like for I just had my birthday, and for my birthday, I made this goal to meet with my this year to meet with my friends at least once in a real life, and I already had three people that I have. My birthday was on 7th this month, and I already had three people that I met that I haven't seen for years. Already like organized it all and had them coming over just for a conversation, just to update how they doing and what they're doing. So it felt actually really good having the real interaction again because we've been texting, calling, but that's not, it's still not the real life communication.
Yeah, it's very different.
Hmm.
Has a different feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not so common anymore because we all got, even me, like it's just so convenient with just text and phone calls.
Yeah, it does change things when you have internet capacity and software to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, like we
So,
know, it's joining that is so important, right? For joy, for happiness, and you wrote a book, and you say how
yeah,
to
this is my
buy
second book,
happiness.
if I'll show you as well. Yeah. So this is my second book, How to Buy Happiness. But the one before, like we're talking about joy, I wrote the book before, it was Joyful Life Jumpstart. So
Ah,
that's
nice.
kind of what I focus on. I focus on like how to have more joy in people's life, and because we have this life and we have to find a way to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you share in these books?
Well, first of all, before we're gonna get to like how to buy happiness, I always same thing that I always say. You have to understand that happiness is not normal to like uh, think that you're gonna be happy 24/7 all the time, all year long, because you have those other emotions that you need for different situations. So happiness is the state that you want to be when there's not other things going on. And you have to find the ways how to get to that stage when you don't have, or even if you have something going on that makes you sad or scared or angry, but how to find the way from that emotion back to happiness.
So are you saying that happiness is our is the baseline, and then when another emotion comes up, you can reaffirm happiness and move through it?
You have to learn to do it because I'm naturally born happy, but not everybody is. And that's how I started to notice that for me it became, well, for me it came normally, like just naturally came like that. And I noticed that other people couldn't have it just naturally. They had like negative thoughts and everything like that. And that's how I started studying more into it. Like, why can't they just be happy? And there's
Yeah.
like so many different reasons, depends from the childhood and the brain and everything, neurology, the way they were raised, the way they understand happiness. There's a lot of people who even don't know what happiness feels like for them.
Yeah, that's another thing. How do you recognize happiness?
Hmm. And that's what I teach. For one main thing in the book is also saying that there is no one way of happiness, because happiness is individualistic. So I've talked with more than hundreds of people about happiness, and I always ask in my podcast and everything as well, what makes you feel happy? And all those hundreds of people, they say something different. Maybe some of the things they all the same or something like this, but it's not always, not mostly, it's not the same things. Mostly it's completely, people like different things and different things make people happy. Like for you, what makes you feel happy?
Oh yeah, there's a few things, especially when there's heartfelt communication that does elicit happiness in me.
Mhm.
So
Or
yeah,
even something like really simple for somebody. There's some simple things you have to notice as well, that they give us like short term happiness. It's just having your favorite food, or doing like going for a little walk. Those are like short term happiness things that you can add to your life in a daily basis. And even some of the people, like you have people in your life who you enjoy being with, so you try to find a ways to be more, spend more time with those people.
yes, that is a very good point. Is to have people around you that you enjoy being around.
Hmm.
There,
And one,
there's that
yeah.
that that's really important to look at that aspect of happiness, the one which you can influence by what you surround yourself with, right? But there's a another level of happiness that you were speaking of, the one that is there all the time, and some emotions come up, but they don't totally cover it up. They just become part of your experience, but the general happiness is still there.
Hmm. And then from, if you learn to have that general happiness in your background, then you always, from every situation, you're trying to find a way to get back there, and trying to find for every situation in your life the most positive outcome. Like sometimes there's situations like, okay, if they're gonna say somebody has some kind of disease or something that they really can't um, heal completely. So how they gonna live with that, with a fully live a good life still having that?
Yes, that is an important aspect of life that many of us go through. Is what happens if you have these things that keep you from being able to do what most people, what you think everyone is able to do except for you at that time, or anyone else having that issue. And how can you still cultivate happiness in yourself, right, in the midst of that? And we've
Mhm.
seen there's so many people who are happy and have things that other people would think you can't be happy with.
Hmm. And we want to get to that as well, because that's going to be one of the parts that I'm going to talk about, how to buy happiness. But the point is, we're always people, there's like a trend. where we say that everybody wants to be happy. But I don't really believe that part, because in that case everybody actually would be happy. But the thing is that people who want to be happy, they can find a way to be happy. But there's some people who don't, like we talked in the beginning, they don't even know what happiness feels like. They grow up maybe some difficult families, difficult upbringing, and they just have anger or sadness or fear always towards life, and they just genuinely don't know what the happiness is or what it feels like. So for them, they would have to learn, if and but they have to want to have that. They
Hmm.
want to, like, actually want to be happy, because there's a lot of people also who say that, yes, I want to be happy, but they just repeat something what they heard, and they don't have any willingness to change anything or do anything about it. They just say it, but they don't follow up with an action.
I think that's a very good point about happiness. In A Course in Miracles, it also says that what you said doesn't make sense to you, but it explains it differently. That everyone wants to be perfectly happy, but yes, you're right. There is all these resistance points, right? There's all
Mm-hmm.
these blocks to the awareness of love, right, or of happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you are choosing to listen to, as in A Course in Miracles it says, to the ego, to the separation thinking. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do, you're not happy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other thing is, what does happiness look like, right? For Because let's say you are speaking from where you're at right now, and you could say that is happiness, right? To be be aware of what's going on and speak about it as far as you are aware of it, you know about it, and how you're able to communicate it, right? You could
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, that's happiness, but that may be communicating that I'm going through a whole lot of pain, I have a sickness, I have this and that, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
a different definition of happiness than when you say happiness is when you're smiling and jubilating and whatever else, right? And it also, and the happiness you were speaking of, that is always there in your life, right? You had it from the beginning on, is a very important aspect as well, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. For me, it comes easy, because I still get sad, I get scared, I get, like, sometimes a little bit angry. I've worked with anger a lot, so I don't really get angry on a lot of, like, anger is not part of my life mostly, but sadness and fears, they sometimes are. And even like anger sometimes are, but then I feel that the emotion, I process that emotion, I find why I'm feeling that, how can I change it, how can I change something about that situation, even a little bit. And I always go to the, what is the positive outcome. It's like, what kind of positive outcome I can generate from this situation, because if I don't, then I might as well get, like, a lot of people, they get stuck, and then they just stuck for like days or years in this negative emotion, just scrolling the same thoughts in their head, and they don't change anything. And it can go on for years if they don't change anything.
Yes, that is correct. It's very common to get, for many people, to get stuck in something that is not making them happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but and in A Course in Miracles it says Holy Spirit can use anything for good. So if you had a situation where you interpret it as horrible, right? This right mind that in A Course in Miracles is called the Holy Spirit, right? Can
Mm-hmm.
use it for good. And so
Mhm.
that's what you were saying. You know, there is a wonderful solution to it. There's a wonderful outcome as well. So you can choose to see that and then let that unfold, or whatever you can way you can let that happen or enable that to happen by choosing that there is a solution.
Mhm. And you cannot, you actually have to do the action as well to try. You have to do something to make that positive thing to happen. You know, either whatever, exercise or change the way you're eating in that cases, or if somebody died, you have to give yourself the time of the grief. And like any situation in life, you have to go through that other emotion first, but you can't let yourself get stuck on that. It's okay. You have to like tell yourself, it's okay that I'm feeling sad right now. And then you feel sad for, let's say, depends on the situation. Sometimes when we have like this daily, or like some days, you just wake up and you just feel sad, like it seems like nothing going on, there's no reason, but you just feel it. Then you let yourself be sad for like 10-15 minutes. You tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to be completely 100% feeling this sadness for 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to try to see what can I do to get out of it, and how can I leave this sadness behind and start doing the things that I want to actually do.
Yeah, that's a good point, is allowing yourself to feel it.
Hmm. Because if
And
you don't
and
feel
with
it, it still stays there. It just accumulates, 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 and then there's too much of that sadness. But if you let that little sadness out, then you can be positive again and have like good things happen again.
yeah, I think it's because you are aware that you have a choice, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, I choose to feel it, to
Mm-hmm.
look, and I know that there is a way to joy
Mm-hmm.
within that, and feeling it also acknowledges that it's there, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't say that it's justified or not, it just is there. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can choose again when.
Yeah. You just have to be okay when those feelings come up and see why they came up, or is there a reason or no reason. Sometimes we just feel a little bit less than certain days. So,
Yeah, and yeah, and it's not always necessary to know why or to
mm-hmm.
find out why in order to feel it, because it can resolve itself too by your willingness to acknowledge it. That's already a huge step towards feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're dismissing it, which is also a choice you can make, right? To say, oh no, this is not the right time, and get angry about being unhappy or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're not recognizing that it is about that it is something that is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're basically saying, no, I won't accept that this is what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking like we can go over now to the buying happiness thing as well,
Okay,
like because of
go ahead.
topic for the topic as well. So I'm gonna explain one thing as well, like why we're saying that, and why we're saying that you can't buy happiness, money can't buy happiness. I'm going to explain that, and then I explain why it's wrong and all the things around it, and everything else. But first of all, like that's one of my goals with this book, is to make people stop saying that money can't buy happiness, because that's not true. And then when people start talking about it, they say like, so then they're gonna have this saying that, well, there's a lot of people who have money, but they're not happy. So that's what the usual reason why they give, like the reason they give for saying money can buy happiness. But the difference in there is what we have to notice now is like it's just having money doesn't make you happy. But if you use your money to do the things that make you happy, to do the things that make you a good life, to do the things to make a better world a better place, then you're buying happiness. So that's right. You can use the money to buy happiness, but just having the money doesn't just automatically make you happy. So that's the difference. And I want people to stop saying that money can't buy happiness and not to feel bad when they actually buy something that makes them feel happy because supposedly money can buy happiness. Yes, it does. And you have to actually enjoy that you used your money to buy happiness. It's okay. But then the other part where people say that is because they think that everybody who has money are happy, and that's not true.
That's a good point. It has a lot more to do with your choices in your mind than to do with whether you have or don't have something,
Hmm.
and everything that, like the it says in A Course in Miracles, Holy Spirit can use everything for good. So yes, money can be used for good, and therefore
Hmm.
yes, that makes
Yes.
sense.
And in that case, you do buy happiness. And that's what my book is well saying. Like, I want people to stop saying you can't buy happiness. That's actually what you should be doing with your money is to buy happiness. Because with the money, most people, what they do now, they buy unhappiness. They buy unhealthy food, they buy smokes, they buy alcohol, they buy things that they really can't afford, and then they stress out all like for years, stressing about making those payments. Some of them are needed, but if you're buying like unnecessary things that you actually don't need, you buy those things on credit, and then you're stressed out about paying them, which you didn't have to put that stress on yourself. Like it wasn't something that you needed, you know? So there's a lot of ways right now where people are actually using their money to buy things that make them unhappy.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it's also the same point of choosing. Do I want to listen to the voice of separation that I made up, or do I want to listen to the voice of Holy Spirit that is actually defending who I actually am, right? Is actually standing up for who I am,
Mm-hmm.
for who we all are, right? For for purpose, for love, for being worthwhile, being infinitely worthy, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and so and affirming that. And so you can do that. Money can be part of affirming that you're infinitely valuable,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But you can also use money to degrade yourself.
Yeah, and that's why like my point of my book is not to do that, but to use the money to buy the things and do the things that make things better for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends, for the world. Because and one of the things as well, like imagine because a lot of people with a lot of money, there is a lot of people with a lot of money right now who using their money to do good things, but there's also a lot of people who are using their money to do not good things. And that's why there's a lot of bad things in the world. So we need more of those people who have a lot of money to use the money to make good things. And we need those people also to be happy because when they're happy, then they use their money for something good.
Yes, that's a really good point. Is happiness automatically points to what is good for everyone, right?
Hmm.
And so
So
yeah,
those
then
people have to learn how to be happy and what makes them happy in a positive way because a lot of people get the same type of feeling, but it's not happiness, but same type of excitement or body feeling when they're doing negative things. So it's kind of the same thing where it's a tricky line there. You have to understand that you're actually doing something that's not good.
Hmm. Yeah, use the world for good. Use your body for good. Use everything for good, right? Let Holy Spirit use it for good.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is learning to to say no to what isn't um, helpful, and do
Mm-hmm.
that consciously. Now, you can only do that consciously if you recognize that you no longer want it, or you don't want that, and you
Yeah.
want, or by recognizing what you want is even more important, and going for that, because then you'll
Mm-hmm.
do less of what you don't want.
Yeah. And use, like, literally use your money to do things for good for yourself. It's like
Yes.
buy the things, like buy, like, let's say buy the lifestyle that you like, pay for the going for the for gym, or go to travel somewhere. Those are like big things you can save up to and everything like this. And but like little things, if something you bought something little that you were really wanted to, and that made you happy, then enjoy that little moment where you did that.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
feel bad that you paid for it or anything. You're still feeling that good feeling. Whenever you feel that kind of good, positive feeling, acknowledge and let yourself truly, truly feel it.
Yes, and I think that's another point why you were saying also the things like sadness need to be felt. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're not willing to feel happiness, sadness fully, you're probably not going to be able to feel happiness fully either,
Mm-hmm.
because it's this willingness to feel what is there, to experience what is here in this moment, and
Mm-hmm.
to choose from there by acknowledging it, respecting your choices that led to that experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then changing your mind if you don't like it, but not by saying I hate you. I hate myself for having made these choices that led to this experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing that I always kind of like jokingly say is all, because that we all live in this economic system. We can't like, there's nothing we can do. We have bills that we have to buy, pay. We have things that we have to buy for food, for like payments and all the things that we need. So I always say, like, happy people need money too to survive. you know, if you're like, even if you're like naturally a happy person, you still need money to survive in these systems that we live in.
In other words, you're saying believing that to be happy without money or without worldly things is not something you should aspire to, because that will eventually lead to unhappiness, perhaps. Or I don't know what you're trying to say, but I think what is important is that happiness and happy people are allowed to be happy, and therefore allowed to pursue careers as well in their happiness, and have money and use it, right? Because this
Hmm.
idea that it's so much more saintly to not have money and be happy, is actually an idea of sacrifice. And in A Course in Miracles, it also says there's no need for sacrifice. Right?
Hmm.
It's absolutely unnecessary to sacrifice anything.
Hmm.
And if you give up something that is not good for you, that shouldn't be experienced as a sacrifice. It should be experienced as a choice for something that is good for you.
Hmm. And I want to point out one thing as well, which is like another wrong understanding about happiness, and buying happiness, that is materialistic things. It's not just things. It's when you actually, like, let's say you use your money to go help somebody. You're still using the money, but now you're not buying, it's not about buying things for yourself, because that's the superficial understanding of happiness, that if I have this and this and this, then I'm happy. Because like you said, this is usually when people, they understand, oh, now they have this and this and this, but they're not happy, because those are actually not, the things are not actually what make you happy. Happy, buying happiness when you, like, those are like short-term happiness when you buy something that you really wanted or something like needed, but not like just having excessive amount of needless things. If you can afford it, you can, but like it's not gonna make you happy. That's not happiness. But using the money on a way you can make other people's life better as well. It doesn't have to be things. It can be experiences. It can be a family, like just like having family come together. All this, and it always doesn't have to. And this book is about how to use the money, but it doesn't always have to be with the money. There's so many, even much more ways to be happy without money. But this book specifically is how to also learn to use money and start using money for happiness as well, because a lot of people, they have not done it previously. So I think it's time for everybody to start using money for happiness as well. There's a lot of ways to be happy without money, which is our like natural states and all the things, and we should do that a lot. But we also have to start now using the money for happiness too.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point. Is that happiness can be should be the basis for every decision, including the ones with money. And this being afraid of using money in that way is, I think that's very important, that you're addressing that issue. That so
Mm-hmm.
many people are afraid to use money the same way they would use anything that is happiness related, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
and it's like in A Course in Miracles, Jesus says, "Love all." Right? You can't just love one. You have to love all. Otherwise, you're not loving anyone, right? Anything.
Mm-hmm.
So loving money, and not in the sense that you covet it for by trying to treasure it and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, but by using it in a loving way, in a joyful way, that that is important, because you need to use everything that way, including
Yeah.
your body, and everything needs to be used for good. And so money needs to be used for good too, right? Or for
Mm-hmm.
joy, or whatever we want to call
Mm-hmm.
happiness, as you say. So I think that's a very important point, because if that's the only that what people think is the only part of their lives where they're not using money for joy, they're not actually joyful, because they're not being joyful otherwise either. Because if you're excluding one thing from that, you're basically excluding everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way you explained it, it's exactly the way it should be. Like, you need to learn how to use that money as part of your whole experience of having a good life. Just
Yes.
make it part of your life for using that for the good things. That's exact the way you explained it. That's the way it is with money.
Yeah, and that's so important, and that's why. And it also says, for instance, in A Course in Miracles, there are no idle thoughts. It means every thought produces an outcome. There is no thought that doesn't. And the other statement that goes with it is that no thought leaves its source. So even
What
if you
was the other
wish,
one?
no thought leaves its source. It always. And so if you're thinking something awful towards anything, a situation, a person, or anything, you're doing that to yourself. You may think you can do it to something or someone else, but you're doing it to yourself. And that's why it's so important to choose your thoughts well. And that means
Mm-hmm.
also choosing to see things differently if you're thinking about it in a way that is harmful to yourself and others, or is generally a way that separates, that gets people each other, gets people to go to each other's throats, or things to attack each other. Right? You're actually attacking yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because there no thought leaves its source, so nothing that you think is gonna is only acting on yourself. But of course, your true nature is love, is happiness. So you're not really changing that, but you're making yourself believe that it is different.
But it's also connected to the changes in our cultures, different cultures and different uh, countries in different ways, and different way where people were raised up. They don't have that knowledge how to control and what to do with those emotions and those negative states of mind. They stay there because they don't see any examples of different, and they don't learn like you learned as well from miracles, and then they don't know any different. They just know only this what they grew up with, where like things were negative, and negative household that have there as well. When you were brought up in that environment when everything was negative, then you just kind of like repeat it and repeat it until somebody gets out and learn something different, and then they can create something different. Because
Yeah,
not everybody has that knowledge that you were just explaining, where everything is the same and depends what you're doing and what you're putting out is from you're not making somebody else. You some situations you are making somebody else life worse, but you also your own life is always worse because of that.
yes, it's all tied into each other.
Hmm. And
So
I want to say to people as well who actually have that moment where somebody does something to them and their reaction is usually automatically something negative. So that's one thing, is to learn to pause that reaction, because it's like sometimes like I'm a natural born happy person, but sometimes that negative reaction comes faster than my reasonable mind, and then I had to like, but I recognize now I've done a lot of work and I recognize it right away and I can stop it. A lot of it doesn't even come up anymore because I've learned not to let it come up and other things like that. But I see from other people when they have this automatic reaction, negative reaction right away, and I like tell them like you have to wait before you react, because
yeah,
your automatic reactions a lot of times are the ones that if you're not trained yourself for positive outcome, your automatic reaction can usually create negative reactions, from where you're going to have an argument with somebody, you're going to make somebody mad at you, you're going to make somebody's day worse or something like this, just by maybe something that was bothering you, or just by you being angry and now you letting that anger out on other people, which is never allowed thing to do. And if you do it like automatically or something really fast, then as soon as you realize it, you have to say sorry and fix what you did.
yeah, in A Course in Miracles, it says you're never angry for the reason you think you are. So, so it's that also plays into that. And another thing is you do need to train your mind to not let
Mhm.
that let yourself forget that you need to change your mind. If you get angry, you need to change your mind, because that's not an appropriate response. I also get angry all the
Mhm.
time, right? I'm learning through mind training
Mhm.
to recognize that. I don't necessarily stop it right away. I
Mm-hmm.
might even do the things, but at least
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn that there is another way. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do that, right?
Yeah.
I
But it
may
don't
have
have.
the habit of do it, the bad habit, and I need to change. I need to change my mind about that. That is,
Mm-hmm.
um, and also
Because
like
it's
you
how.
said, the normalizing of responding with anger or with violence or whatever else people respond with, and we do too in our and when we do, um, yeah, we need to stop normalizing that and normalize the joy, the happiness, which is actually much easier. And of course, in Miracles, it basically says it's so much work to make yourself angry to uphold these separation thinking. The separation thinking is really hard to do, and it proves how powerful your mind is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that we forget. Nobody wants to take away your mind power, right? You're supposed to use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the power that you're given, and the power that you're giving is an amazing, infinite, un unimaginable, only experienceable power of joy and happiness and love,
Mm-hmm.
and all these other these actions that or thoughts that are not who we are. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to choose again, because it's not like that's who you are, and it's not like that's something you will indefinitely be able to tolerate, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
tolerate that forever. You might tolerate to a certain degree, but there is a limit to how
Well,
much you can tolerate of your own production of unhappiness.
but there is, and that's the problem is like some of the people they live all their life like that because they never get the new knowledge. That's the thing. If you don't get the different knowledge, you don't listen and you don't learn something that says something opposite from what you're used to with thinking, then you will stay there and you will have a miserable life for all your life. While when if you have people around, you have knowledge and you just practice, then you can change it. But you have to
Yeah,
also want to change it, but and you have to practice because like those other feelings are automatic and they normal and it's like I said sometimes even with anger sometimes it is needed in a moment when somebody actually did something wrong to you, so you have to address it, but like the way how you address it is not that you're gonna hit the person or do something bad back to that person, but you understand that okay, this person did something that made you angry, but now you have a choice. Like, do you make some kind of boundaries? How you gonna in the future interact with that person? Are you completely take yourself like end the relationship with that person completely if needed, if that person doesn't accept your boundaries, or if you did something wrong in reactions, then you will go and say sorry and you fix it. Like yeah, like don't give yourself hard time in the beginning of the practice when it keeps on going back, but fix it.
yeah. Like A Course in Miracles says, choose again. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
wallowing in misery and guilt and shame and sin, thinking you're a sinner, change your mind about it. And
Mm-hmm.
there is help. There is help available. There is a solution, and it's in you. Like I said, heaven is within you. The solution is right with you. You don't even have to search for it everywhere. You won't find
Mm-hmm.
it outside of yourself. It's
Yeah.
in you. And once you say, okay, I'm willing to find out what the solution is. I don't know I'm not aware of what the solution
Mm-hmm.
is, but I'm willing to find out. Then you will find it will open up, and yes, then someone might say something, and you will suddenly feel the resonance to the answer that's in you. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
providing a book like your book, that book will that maybe will pop up into that person's hand, and they will like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is exactly the solution I was looking for, right? And
Yeah.
it's
It
and oh, it
happened to me with
resonates.
other
It
books.
feels so right, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's really an important aspect of it, is to say, okay, I'm willing to find out what the solution is, and the solution is always something that will free up the awareness of more happiness, right? Of who you are, and that is perfect happiness, right? Is perfectly happy.
Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people, they use it different names. Like you said, I use happiness, but if they use like joy or love, but like that positive feelings where you know that things are good, but there's also some things that are bad. But like those things, you can try to fix or accept, but you don't give them to like power to be over ruling everything else in your life.
Yeah, you like you say, like you said, you can, one of the ways that it might happen is by putting up boundaries. Another way might be that you feel so great a compassion that you share that in a way through your actions, that that person automatically no longer feels like doing that, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's really good as well.
So
That's
or
really
you, or like, we know in the Bible, Jesus would respond with answers that, when people were trying to trap him into some horrible situation where he would then be punished for him for saying whatever, right? Because he was a public figure, right? He would answer in a way that nobody was expecting, but it was
good.
all was true, right?
Hmm.
And and so I think that that's something that can also happen, right? That might be one of the ways you respond to these attacks, right? So
Hmm.
there's many examples, or we have, I mean, we have more recent people who work with nonviolence, right? And were able to achieve things that nobody would have dreamed of, right? Because
Hmm.
they chose to act in a nonviolent way. And it also is, in A Course in Miracles, it's clear that means and end are the same. So if you want peace, you need to choose peace,
Hmm.
right, instead of this. And so yeah, that peace may engender that you say no, goodbye, thank you, right? But
Hmm.
it might also mean something totally different. But it's not violence. Yeah, you will stop, you if it's necessary, you will stop the violence, right?
Hmm.
But you won't do it out of anger. You
And
will,
you don't react with the violence either. Like a lot of
yes,
times, those people they react in a violent way as well, and now like it's double violence, and it just gets more from there. It's better even with the anger. If you already practiced a lot, the best sometimes the best response for anger is no response at all.
yeah, sometimes that's the right way, and but you will only know if you choose again how to respond in that particular situation.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that Jesus Christ was really good at.
Yeah, finding positive outcomes and
Yeah.
finding what's the positive way.
Yeah,
So,
he would see past the aggression. He would see past the whole thing and see the person as love, as whole. He knew that everyone had, heaven is within everything and everyone, right? He knew that, he saw it, and he would speak to that and act to that. rather than responding with anger, with annoyance, or with pain, or with whatever ways that what I think is also remarkable is this that this demonstration that that you are invulnerable. You are not you are not in danger. You are safe. And I think he showed that really well. He felt completely safe, right? And that's something that is an authority you cannot go beyond, right? That's the greatest authority. If you are absolutely safe in your mind and in your actions, you feel you have this absolute trust in
Mm-hmm.
your ability and in the like you were saying, in the outcome, that everything can be used for good, right? That everything actually serves good. You could put it that way, serves love, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if someone acts in a certain way that you do not, that could be construed as bad or whatever, if if you react in a way in which you recognize that it serves love, instead,
Mm-hmm.
so you're responding with love because it serves love, right?
Mm-hmm.
then then,
And then
then
those.
things shift. Then things are shift. At least they shift in your mind. If it doesn't shift in then in other ways.
Mm-hmm. But in those, like you were saying, in those situations, you have to find. You can be the person who finds the way to turn things around.
And there
It's
is
like
all, yeah,
that's
you
what
have
the
that.
choice is. Like, okay, we have this. I see two people, like two of my friends, argue. How can I stop them arguing? Simple those things. How can what I can do to make them not argue anymore? Get them settled down, get them relaxed, and see the things from different point of views and all that situation. Or if you see somebody is suffering, somebody is having a hard time, maybe there's something little that you can do for them. You can you can always look at the somebody's situation or some older situations. What can you personally, not like everybody, so a lot of people say like, oh, world is such a bad place and people are so bad. Like, don't worry about that, worry about what you can do in that situation.
Yeah. Also, like in A Course in Miracles, it says you can't change the world, but you can change your mind about it. And by
Hmm.
doing so, yes, you can actually step up and take responsibility and say, okay, and recognize maybe that person just needs to be heard.
Hmm.
Maybe that's exact, and you are there. You can do it, right? You can listen,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So
And also
you
with
never.
judgment.
So there's always a solution that you can always be the solution. Let's put it that way. You are the
Hmm.
solution. Let's put it even more emphatically.
Hmm.
Every one of us is the solution.
Yeah. And what I want to say, one thing that came to my mind as well is the judgment. Like the way I learned completely knowingly not to judge, but also same way the judgment sometimes comes up also automatically. Like you see somebody doing something that the judgment comes up in your mind, like, oh, they're doing this wrong, or they should not be doing this, or something like this. And I learned to tell myself, stop exactly in this way. You're saying like, don't judge. Like when that thought comes up in my mindset, don't judge. Because I don't know all the background behind it. I don't know the stories and all the things. But if they're like, if there's violence or something, there's um of course you have to stop it. One thing is stopping it, but like, but it's still not your decision to judge because you don't know where the violence comes from, but you can stop the situation, but you don't judge.
Yeah, I think that an example is the story of Jesus and the throwing of stones. Right, they wanted to throw stones at people, and he found a way to say something, and the violence stopped.
Mm-hmm.
abruptly and suddenly it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And he was
Mm-hmm.
not violent
Yeah.
himself.
Even like I, this
He
one
was
I wrote.
very peaceful and just stated what he saw, right?
Mm-hmm. But I was reading it from some book, but then I noticed it in real life as well. Because even animals, like they get angry at each other sometimes. Like even you can see in like some of the lakes, you can see ducks or even birds, and like general situation birds. You can see them getting in a fight somewhere, but the fight is usually super short. It's like only less than maybe minute, 2 minutes, and then the fight is over, and then they peacefully do their own things again.
True,
That's
yeah.
different from like when they're still like the fight can go on. Okay, the general fight maybe happened, but then they carry that fight for like days, years, weeks until they die with them, instead of like, okay, it happened, now it's over, we're done with it.
Yeah. That's also very significant how easily that can end and be done with. But you're right. This fostering of separation thinking can uphold something that is long over.
Mm-hmm.
And in A Course in Miracles, it speaks of this world and our experience here as a dream. And this dream is long over. We already are awake. We already are perfectly happy. So actually we're watching something that has passed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we were willing to let go and say, okay, it's over. It's already
Mm-hmm.
over. It's already decided. I choose peace instead of this. I already chose peace. I might as well be peaceful right now.
Mm-hmm.
I already made that choice. And even if I don't make it now, I will eventually. So I could actually up my game and decide to be peaceful now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's over.
Yeah.
And this and so separation thinking doesn't last. It cannot last. And so it will be it's over already because it has no chance of lasting, right? Because it's not something that lasts. It's not
Mm-hmm.
eternal. Love is eternal, but but things that separate, that's not eternal, or make things less or better or whatever, try to split. The split mind is not eternal.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience that is already over in reality.
Mm-hmm.
In A Course in Miracles, it describes it as the script is written.
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't carry it like for just like we said in the beginning as well. You just deal with it and you don't carry it along.
Yes, there. Then that's also why A Course in Miracles says um, it doesn't. It says sin. No one is. It doesn't use the word sin. It says mistake, and mistakes
Mm-hmm.
can be corrected,
Mm-hmm.
or an error. Every error can be corrected, and when it's corrected, any consequences that were or would have been afterwards are gone, and there's no consequence now either because it's corrected. And it says to correct it at the level of the mind. So you need to change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, if we come into a situation and someone's acting in a certain way and we judge it, and then we find out what's actually going on, often that dissipates in a moment. You suddenly see it totally differently and you feel differently. But you
Mm-hmm.
can actively choose to see it differently as well. You don't have to wait for the explanation to come, because it absolutely is different than you're thinking if you're angry or if you're judging. That certainly is the wrong thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
and on the other,
as a human, it sometimes comes out automatically. But then you're like, you have to stop it and say, it's like it's not your place to judge because you don't know the full story.
for instance, is one way to put it, or another way would be to actually decide. the other is a radiant being, is light, is love, no matter what it might appear to be when I'm judging. This in A Course in Miracles, it describes as seeing the face of Christ on everyone, right? Basically, everyone is Christ, and then is innocent, is absolutely magnificent. And the more we can see that, the more we also can accept our magnificence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you recognize that everyone is magnificent, what purpose is there in attacking each other? But
Yeah.
yes, like you said, of course, I'm doing it all the time. I'm attacking, I'm judging, I'm doing all of that. The question is how to decide to change your mind as fast as possible, right? And ask for
Mm-hmm.
help from heaven within you, from the solution that's in you. Please
A
help
lot
me.
of the times after practicing, you do it less and less. Like when I say I still do it, it means I maybe do it once, twice a year. Whereas like most people, they do it daily. They do it like every day. They're just judging and complaining about everything, you know. And
Yeah,
like when you practice and practice it, then you just automatic maybe few, like I said, few times a year you do it, but most of the time you already stop doing it.
yeah, that depends on how far you've come in your practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still
Exactly.
doing it daily more than multiple times. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's better than I used to, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
In the
Exactly.
past, I probably was doing it every single minute, and right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so
And but some people still do. And what I wanted to say again would be everything being the whole. I like one way I was reading it from some kind of painting, and this I like the way they put it as well. Was like until you see yourself in all, you don't see yourself at all. Like
that is
same way
wonderfully
saying
put.
like you have to say that you are everything. If you realize that you are everything, then you're able to see what you actually are.
Yeah, there is nothing else. There is nothing other than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the other point, of course, in Miracles likes to make is that you are created by the Creator, and the Creator is perfect. So there is nothing that isn't perfect. So
So,
yes, I love the picture you made. That's a beautiful statement, right?
mm-hmm.
You and so yeah. So
Okay.
if you want to experience yourself as magnificent, see everyone as everything as magnificent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't make any exceptions for that.
Yeah. So that actually reminds me when I was young, and a lot of people didn't understand that either, what I was saying, because sometimes I use words that other people misinterpret. And I was saying, like, I'm the best, but then I fall off it, but everybody else is the best too.
Yeah,
So it's like, I understand, like, I acknowledge myself as I'm the best, but all the other people are the best as well.
yeah, not the best in comparison,
Mm hmm.
but the best together.
Mm hmm. So I don't know
As
how I
one,
came
the
up with that.
best
I
as
was,
one, right? The
yeah.
best as one, right? We are all to all is magnificent, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore I am magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say, you can put it in any way, because that is unity. In You are one, and being one with many faces is still one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is still at one. So you're
Mm-hmm.
still joined. You're joined totally
Mm-hmm.
in
But you have
in
to
your
give yourself,
magnificence.
you have to give yourself, a lot of people, they don't have that self-love where they don't give themselves credit that they are good. So they have to give themselves good portray that they are good. And if they have that feeling, they have to find out why they have that feeling or why they mind saying it. Is it something that somebody programmed them to say from like saying bad things about them when they were growing up or something? And or maybe there were some actions and things that you actually did that made you people to view you as not a good person, but then you still have to recognize it and you can make the choice to change those things.
Exactly.
You
Choose
don't have
again.
to keep on living that way. You can change and choose different ways. Doesn't matter what was in the past. You can always change and choose what you're gonna do now.
Yes, exactly. And it has nothing to do with not accepting consequences. You accept the consequences, but you
Mhm.
change your mind.
Mhm.
You change your mind about it. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really a really, Course in Miracles, it says, it speaks of guilt, and I actually say guilt is the only drug there is. And so if you end guilt, this decision that you're guilty,
Mhm.
and decide you are magnificent, you are worthy, you are love, and everything is love, right? And then the things change. You no longer have this need to judge, to separate. I've thought recently of how often I got into the trap of wanting to correct someone, and correcting people. And every time people corrected me, I'd get really angry,
Mm.
right? So
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, show me how to let people be the way they are, and let myself be the way I am,
Mhm.
and love it. Love the way things are right now. Love, love now. Right?
Mhm. Yeah, correcting people, that's different too. Because kind of like wanting to that's what a lot of people do. It's not that they get upset about what the other person is doing. They kind of upset that the other person doesn't do exactly what you want them to do. And it's like the other person doesn't have to do the things the way you want them to be. You want them to do them. Maybe they don't like the same things, or maybe they just not used to doing it this way, and they do it in their own way.
Yeah,
So
it's
we have to
also,
understand when it's from within from us, not from what they actually doing, but like our own perception of what we think that they should be doing.
yes, and we're treating ourselves the same way.
Oh
And
yeah, that's true.
so we're actually, so we have the impulse to do something one way, but we tell ourselves, no, you have to do it this way because that's the right way. And it's like in A Course in Miracles, it actually goes as far as saying, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice,
Mm-hmm.
but being happy also means um, dropping all of the acts of judgment and guilt and so on, right? You need to
Mm-hmm.
drop it all. And it is an act. It's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't real, and it has no justification in truth, because
Mm-hmm.
truth is invulnerable. It cannot be attacked, cannot be slighted. It only illusions can fight illusions, is how A Course in Miracles puts it.
Mm-hmm.
So so when people are fighting, everyone is buying into a separation idea, an idea of separation, idea of an illusion that you could
Mm-hmm.
be separate, that you could be better than your creator, as it says it in A Course in Miracles. This conflict in which you think you could be better or you could kill your creator, right? But you cannot. You are the created, and the creator is perfect, and you are perfect because of who created you. And you can't change that.
And what I wanted to say about that as well, that um, the way of being perfect, it's you have to find yourself how to do the good, make the things good in that situation. So, like you were saying, the separation. So it's your point to like connect people instead of separating yourself from others and separating other people from other people. And that's in the world. If those people in charge would actually also care about uniting people, that's and doing something that's good for everybody, so that will make the change. It's like
Yeah, and
think of like
yes,
how can I make it good for most amount people.
I think it goes even deeper. Is the trust that there is a way that actually serves the good of all.
Mm-hmm.
There is a solution that is good for everyone, because
Mm-hmm.
we this compromise of saying, okay, for the as many as possible, then you'll have those few that are unhappy. It's
Mm-hmm.
a compromise. So we need to allow the solution to arise from heaven within us, right? The solution is there, to trust that solution, to show it, to guide us in our actions and so on, and trust in the solution that is already there, because we tend to forget that the solution is already here. We are the
Yeah.
solution. I am the solution. You are the solution. Everything is the solution. It's already right in front of us.
And we need the people in charge, who are in charge right now with politics, economics, and all the things like that. We need more of those people to understand that as well, and we need them to make their decisions from positive way of thinking, from love. We
Yes.
need them to make that. I wanted to point out one thing with money as well, because one of those podcasts that was asked like, "What is greed?" I want to bring up it here as well. Greed, the way I see it, greed is when there's people who just want to accumulate money, and it's just money, 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 and whatever it is, superficial things, money, but there's no why behind it. It's like I want money to take my family to travel. Want money to have a good life experience. Their mind is just focused on money as some kind of number, and that's greed. Like you don't even need that money, but you take it as you want it, but you don't need it, you don't use it. So that's the way I see greed. I wanted to bring it up as well, and that's
And that,
why I see
I
like
guess that
money.
is a form of devaluing money.
Hmm.
It's
And that's what people think.
denigrating money, and therefore you're denigrating yourself. You're
Hmm.
denigrating the world. You're making the world ugly. Right? The
Hmm.
world isn't ugly of its own. It's because of the way you
No.
think about it, right? So
Yeah.
if you so it's a decision how you see the world. And so when we look at the, let's say we're looking at the politicians, you say we need more politicians who see the world lovingly, right? See
Mm-hmm.
themselves lovingly. Yeah, well, we need to see them we need to see them lovingly. We need to choose to see the magnificence everywhere, and that includes those who we describe as politicians, those who we describe as jealous, those who we describe as greedy. We need to see it everywhere in order to be able to um, demonstrate love,
And
to
change.
demonstrate who we are, right?
Hmm.
Who we are as humanity, as a universe, right? Our nature, we need to show it. And that's why we need to allow the Holy Spirit to remove all those blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Because otherwise, we are, yeah, we're just pretending to not be magnificent, not be love, right?
Hmm. I like one of the things, one sentence in my book as well is like that people spend so much money, so much time, so much of their brain work to pretend that they're happy. And I always say, like, it's much easier just to be happy than to pretend that you're happy. It's
Yeah.
much easier just to be happy and find the happy things and do the real things and really be happy. I like the word genuinely happy. I want it to be a more popular way to say it, not real happiness. Real happiness is good to use as well, but I want people to learn to say genuinely happy. It's a natural way. And but then to pretend that you're happy, pretend that you're happy takes so much effort, and you just leave that all that effort of pretending away and just actually start paying attention what actually makes you feel happy and be happy naturally.
Yeah, that is a very good point. There is a lot of pretending, and it doesn't
Hmm.
matter whether you're pretending you're happy, pretending you're unhappy. It doesn't matter
True.
because all the all the it's all illusions. That's why good or bad, it's all illusions, as because they're the way the way you are pretending, whatever you're pretending, isn't the real thing. The real thing is who you are, and that's not something that you can pretend to be, right? And many people try to pretend to be who they actually are, and forget that they already are that, and then
Hmm.
they can't have the genuine experience, as you said, right? They don't have
Hmm.
the genuine experience unconsciously, right? It's
Hmm.
hidden,
Yeah.
and that's of course unhappiness, right?
Hmm.
It's struggle, it's effort, right? And that's why happiness is not an effort, right? When you have done the mind training, choose to see love where you previously saw hate, right?
Hmm.
To see holy ground where you previously saw war and destruction, right? And so
Yeah.
on, right?
And if it
That
doesn't come.
that's where you really are. And when you see Christ, or the peace, a peaceful, joyous face on everyone, right? Because you really can, through your thoughts, make people look ugly, make things look ugly.
Hmm.
And so if you change your mind about it, the world becomes totally resplendent and beautiful. And that's what A Course in Miracles describes. It doesn't look like the world that you saw before.
Hmm. And you start seeing like how beautiful there's things that, like, when people say like the world is an ugly place, to say like no, this is absolutely not true. World is a beautiful place, but right now we have some people who do things that are not a good things. There's things and happening in our world that are not good things, kind of like, as well, like they're changing, and we're saying about like don't judge if they're good or not, but they destructive. But we have to understand that that's not the world. The world itself is so full of beauty and beautiful places and beautiful people, and like it's so pretty. But there are some things right now that mostly humans have created, like you say, starting from their mind as well, that are not you say not to assume it is good or bad, but they are destructive, you know. They should not be. I think it comes from them not knowing and not being experienced the love and happiness, and that's why they still create that, because they don't see the beauty of everything.
Yeah, we have Jesus Christ as an example. When he's on the cross, he says, "Forgive them, Father, they don't know what they are doing." Right? That's basically that sentiment, that
Hmm.
they don't know. They are not. They have not trained their minds to see who they are. Right? They don't see each other for what they are.
Hmm. Yeah, they don't see it yet, and there we still have those people who don't see it yet.
Yeah,
So we
and
like the goal
a
is
li-
to make those people to see.
well, actually, the goal is for us to see, and that makes it visible for everyone who is willing. They need a little willingness. We can't force anyone. You don't force anyone's hands. I'm not, and I can't force my own hand either. But
Hmm.
for most of my life, I thought I could force myself to get better, to be this, to be that, and it's always an attack on myself,
Mm.
right? And I can't do that to anyone else either. So I need to see them for who they are, and see everyone that way, and that allows it to come naturally, through
Genuine as well.
genuinely, and
Genuinely.
because of willingness, because of choice, because
Hmm.
free will is very important.
Hmm.
And free will, of course, is only free when you are willing with all, right? Willing with everything together, right? It's one will. It's God's will, as you might put it, is your will. For perfect happiness is the will of God, and that is also your will. But you need to choose it in order to experience it. And that
Hmm.
requires a lot of mind training when
Hmm.
you have been going down the wishing well of separation thinking.
Hmm. Yeah.
And-
You just have to change it.
okay, let's wrap things up.
Hmm.
Thank you so much, Piret, for being here on the podcast, for joining us. For
Yeah, thank you for a good conversation. And I wanted to share it with people who are watching. I always say it helps few people. It already changes the world. It changes things. It's like somebody gets help and just view the life in a different way and take different actions and stop saying from my message from the book, because we were talking about the book, and stop saying that money can't buy happiness. You can say that just having money doesn't create happiness, but you be using the money to create happiness for yourself, for others, and for the world.
that's a good point, and it's true about the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Stop
Exactly.
stop misusing the world to teach you unhappiness. Use it to teach you love,
Mm-hmm.
to choose love. Right? We want to learn that we are love, and so we need to use the world for that, right? To learn that lesson
Mm-hmm.
of who we are, and
Yeah.
remember who we are. Genuinely remember who we
Mm-hmm.
are.
Perfect.
So thank you everyone for viewing this, for joining us. Please join again whenever you can and feel like it. Please leave comments, review the podcast, subscribe to it, let people know about it, and you are all invited to join me on the stage as well. Just reach out to me. Blessings to you all. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.